Coming up very soon at the 2025 Black Expo, we'll see a number of different business owners and other entrepreneurs from across the greater West Bloomfield area present their businesses and their products to all the people of greater West Bloomfield, and that includes local authors, including familiar faces such as Jabulani McCalister, the senior pastor at Covenant Baptist Church, who will be presenting his new book, Hope Beyond Hope. He joins us now to tell us even more about this book. Pastor, thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you on to talk about Hope Beyond Hope. It's an interesting tale that you're telling in here as you hope to bring people closer to their faith in our community, whether they practice Christianity or not. And it's an interesting way that you go about this. So give us a little bit of background information on what goes into Hope Beyond Hope.
So I recognized that it was so many people that were going through a lot of different things. And as you pointed out, whether they were a part of my faith tradition as a Christian or not, I wanted them to find a way to get closer in their faith walk on their own. Because I did not grow up in church. A lot of people assume that because I've been a pastor for so long and because I've followed Christ for so long, but I didn't. And so as you alluded to, I give some introductory remarks in the book about my faith journey and how I was impacted by that. And so I try to remember that when I'm approaching others who want to draw closer to God and try to figure out how to make it through this day-to-day thing. You know, it's not always super spiritual, but a spiritual base and foundation helps you make it through everyday challenges.
And so you wrote in your overview passage about this book, you said, quote, "I pray that as you journey with me these 21 days, that my stories and testimonies coupled with the scriptures and prayers will deepen your faith in a way that it will never be permanently shaken again." So are you taking people on a sort of day-by-day journey as they go through this book? Is that kind of what I'm getting out of this correctly?
Yes, it's a 21-day devotional. People always ask, Pastor, why 21 days? Well, people have short attention spans these days, and it takes 3 weeks, 21 days, to develop a new habit. And so day by day, it's a different devotional that leads them on a journey from the spirit to hope, and hopefully helping them with some different prayer prompts at the end of the devotionals to help them find their own way back to hope, no matter what happens in their life.
Pastor Jabulani McCalister is with us, the senior pastor at Covenant Baptist Church in West Bloomfield. He just released his new book, Hope Beyond Hope. You can pick up a copy, get him signed, and talk to him about his 21-day devotional at the 2025 Black Expo. More information on that event through the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force can be found on wbparks.org. And Pastor, this is a really interesting way to bring this together. As you said, you're sort of trying to help people form habits as it relates to their faith, but even beyond that, whether they are a devout Christian or they've sort of lost track of their Christian faith, or if they don't even practice Christianity, people can get a lot out of these stories through that 21 days that goes beyond what they would get in the church or get from even just practicing their faith in a traditional sense.
For sure, because many people, these days, they've lost their faith and well, not their faith, but they've lost interest in going to a physical building, for example. And so we try to find creative ways to help people connect, whether they come inside the church building or not. Because we found that in my faith tradition, when I look at it in the scriptures, Jesus always went to where people were and met them where they were in a non-judgmental way and helped them and walked alongside them. And so that's what my attempt is in sharing with them this material to kind of help them plug into that and not trying to force them to believe what I believe, but help them to be sure about what they believe and stand firm on that so they're not shaken and when life happens.
So there's a number of different reasons to write a book, especially a devotional book for someone that is in our faith community. So why this book and why right now?
Well, I think this book, again, as the title says, it's Hope Beyond Hope. So sometimes people can start off very hopeful, very inspired, and then some trauma or something will happen in their life, and they'll just give up. And so I thought that this was important to understand that you can still hold on to it. So when you get to your last hopeful moment, you can go beyond that as you walk daily with your relationship with God. And especially in times like these, people are so divided on different things. And I want people to know that you can disagree without being disagreeable. You can still hold on to what you believe in, but you can still respect other people's faith as well, their journeys as well, and come alongside each other to inspire each other to hold on to not only their faith, but their hope, and that they can make it through any challenge. Because once you have that foundation, it doesn't matter what happens. You can understand how important it is to never give up.
Jabulani McCalister is with us, senior pastor at Covenant Baptist Church. His new book, Hope Beyond Hope, will be available for you to pick up and get a signed copy at the 2025 Black Expo. That is coming up at the Orchard Mall Saturday, February 22nd, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. More information on that can be found at wbparks.org/diversity. And Jabulani, as we continue to talk about what people may get out of this book, what you hope people do ultimately take from this book, how does it connect to sort of the work, or the purpose of the work, better yet, that you do each and every day, each and every week as one of our faith leaders here in Greater West Bloomfield?
Well, it connects because, as I said, people will not necessarily come on a Sunday morning, for example, to worship or a Bible study, things like that. But this may inspire them to do that. And one of the things that's important, I think, is community. And we all need it, whether we admit it or not. We all want it. And I think that it connects to that work because, like, when we reach people with our emergency food pantry, we reach them with the Bible study that we have. So it's practical things linked with faith. Because I believe that once you finish praying, then it's time to roll up your sleeves and get to work.
And so how do you believe that after these 21 days of stories, after they get through your book, that people will be able to, whether they're utilizing these newfound skills, this newfound hope through their faith or just through new day-to-day habits, how do you hope that they spread this message maybe even beyond what they've learned and maybe help other people here in Greater West Bloomfield as well?
Well, my hope is that it will restore their faith, number one, and because they will have a new practice, daily practice of prayer, because I give instructions on how to use it or an example of how to use it, then they'll be able to plug into daily conversation. You don't have to pray like anybody else. Prayer is just a dialogue. You speaking to God and you listening. And I think the most important part, as I tell my congregation, is the listening part, because sometimes we will rush off. You'll see a quick little prayer and just rush off, but hopefully this will give them a desire and hunger to be able to use these tools every single day beyond just this 21-day journey. As I said, forming a new habit of best practices in their faith and their life, and then they'll be able to inspire others by their own testimony and their own story of how to do that.
Jabulani McCalister is with us. He is the author of Hope Beyond Hope, and day by day, week by week, you'll see him as the senior pastor at Covenant Baptist Church right here in Greater West Bloomfield. You'll also be able to see him and get a signed copy of Hope Beyond Hope at the 2025 Black Expo, February 22nd, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Orchard Mall. More information on that can be found on wbparks.org/diversity. Pastor, before we let you go, there's so many messages that will be taken from this book that people will be able to learn by reading it and by talking to you and others in our community about these lessons. Overall, what is your number one message as you release this book and you have hope that people will take away something new that will ultimately lift them up in their day-to-day life?
Ultimately, I want them to know that even if the whole world has forgotten about you, God has not forgotten about you. God sees you. God wants you to prosper. And that doesn't mean materially, but just in your holistic self, physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. That's the whole point of releasing a work like this, to get people connected to their faith portion. Because a lot of times we operate physically, but we forget about being a whole person, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally.
The book is Hope Beyond Hope. It's available as we speak on Google Play Books, on Amazon, and will be available in person, where you can also get a signed copy at the 2025 Black Expo on Saturday, February 22nd from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pastor Jabulani McCalister, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.